Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play that groove, which is just based on a triad and an extended arpeggio. I'll tell you what all of that means in a minute, but first I'll teach you the bass line. So the first bar, you can download this PDF below to study this at home, but this goes like this. So E minor 7, that's the chord that we're dealing with here, and we've got open E first, we've got 4 16th notes. We're going at 80 beats per minute, which is about this fast. So then we're going to the B on the 2nd fret of the A string, down to a G. So I'm doing the B with my first finger, and then 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, that's the G. So the whole bar. That is a triad. That's an E minor triad. And a triad is just where you get the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th notes of a scale. That's it. So I'm going to get more into this in a minute, but the scale that this little piece that I wrote comes from is E Dorian, which is a minor scale. It's a mode. It's the 2nd mode of a major scale. And whether you're talking about a mode or a scale, it doesn't matter. You can extract a triad from that by just taking the 1st, 3rd, and 5th notes. And E, G, and B, all the notes in this bar, create an E minor triad. It's just something that's used in bass playing a lot. You know, it sounds quite bassline-y, doesn't it? Now, it's quite slow, plus there's a rest. That little squiggle at the end of the bar is an 8th note rest. And that gives us enough time to travel all the way up to the 12th fret. It's quite a long way, but that's where we're going. Okay, now the B at the end, I'm kind of muting it, perhaps with the plucking hand fingers, and keeping everything clean, you know, stopping the strings and then moving, so that as I'm moving, no strings are ringing out. That's quite important. Then we've got this line, which I'll show you first. So we've got 2nd finger on the E. Now if you put your 2nd finger on the E, the 12th fret, the other fingers should line up next to that one. So you've got, you know, fingers 2, 3, and 4 on frets 12, 13, 14, and fret 11, you've got 1st finger. That's called 1 finger per fret, okay? And in this little case here, I'm moving that 1st finger, backing it or stretching it down towards the 10th fret. So it's stretching out of that 1 finger per fret system, and we've got So we've got an E and a G, stretching that 1st finger out, then little finger on the 14th fret B, and then we're back into 1 finger per fret, nice relaxed handshake there. We've got a D, 12th fret D string, 14th fret, little finger, that's on the A, we're going 11th fret down to the 12th fret again. An F sharp, and that's a D. So whole thing. It's a nice workout for the hands, both the plucking hand and the fretting hand, because you're going across different strings quite quickly, jumping quite a lot. Okay, let me just explain what that is here. This is just an arpeggio. So we had a triad there, which was the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th notes of the scale. And remember, that scale was the Dorian mode. I can probably explain that a bit better now, because this shape here is E Dorian. And if I play it to the 14th fret of the G string, I get all those notes. Notice they're all the same notes of D major, just starting on E. That's what a mode is. This, in this case, this Dorian is the 2nd mode of a major scale. So all the notes of D major starting on E will give you this E Dorian. It's a mode that's used a lot in jazz, a lot in funk, a lot in folk music as well. And this is influenced a little bit by sort of neo-soul, Erykah Badu, D'Angelo type thing. And, you know, you can craft bass lines using these arpeggios. So what we have here is we have the 1, the 3 and the 5 as we did down here, E, G, B. We've got it just in a different configuration here. And then I'm just carrying on. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. See what we're doing there? We're stacking thirds from the scale. So root, flat third, fifth. This is the flat 7. That's the 9th. And that's the 11th. Learn those notes. Learn how to play them. Mix them up in different orders. Now, if you go down 1 fret and play the same notes, nearly the same notes, you get Off the Wall by Michael Jackson. Just a root. We've got a 4th there, that's the only note that's different. Talking of neo soul, Didn't You Know by Erykah Badu, which is a bass line taken from another song but played by Pino Palladino. That's also very similar. Some notes from the scale, but otherwise some notes from the arpeggio as well. That's why you need to know this, because you're going to hear it a lot in bass lines, and also you can make your own bass lines up from these notes, whether they're arpeggio notes or notes from the scale. Let's go back 1 fret up to this. I'll play the bass line one more time, and this time I'm going to make some things up. So this is what you could do. You can download the PDF, you can play the bass line exactly as I'm teaching you, and then by using the notes of that extended arpeggio, the extensions are the notes that go beyond the octave. Once you have those down and the notes of the scale, you can then craft your own bass line up. So something like this. So there I went root, flat third, 5th, flat 7. That's the 9th there. And right next to it, and you learn this as you go. When you practice scales and arpeggios and patterns, you just know what fits under the finger. That's that flat third up the octave. That's a flat 10th. This is the 10th note of the scale. And I love that. I just love that sound. It's the flat 7. That's the octave. Minor pentatonic and blues scale works as well over this. You know, that's the minor pentatonic. Because this is a minor mode, that's why that works over this. So when I'm crafting bass lines, which is quite a lot of the time, I will fall back on these things. And, you know, when Pino Palladino is, well, he didn't make that bass line up, but when he's playing, even if he doesn't know the theory behind it, he knows the shapes, he knows the sounds. And it doesn't matter which way you approach this, all of these notes are going to be helping you in whatever style of music you play. You'll be calling upon, you know, triads and arpeggios and the nuts and bolts of music. That's why I think it's important to know. Anyway, you can download that PDF. You can play this bass line exactly as is. I'll put the shapes there as well so that you can also have a go at making up your own thing. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. If you did, here's another video right here that will teach you a little bit about making up and creating your own bass lines. Thanks for watching. See you next time.